Hello everyone, my name is Güvenç Özel. I'm one of the four leaders of the MARC2 program Suprastudio at UCLA Department of Architecture and Urban Design. In this information session, I would like to introduce you to the program and talk about the IDEAS platform and the IDEAS campus. Without further ado, I would like to first of all talk about the IDEAS platform. We consider IDEAS platform as a new platform for cross-disciplinary research collaborations. So what does that really mean? We see IDEAS as an educational platform that merges technology, culture, practice, and R&D together. So in practice, what is IDEAS? It is a satellite campus where we house our Master of Architecture 2 degree that we call Suprastudio. It is a one-year-long applied studio and technology seminars that support each studio. In addition to the architectural studios, we also have industry collaborators that allow us to create a context for some of the topics that are being explored. We also have our Advanced Technologies Lab, which I will talk about in more detail. In addition, we also have a IDEAS platform specific lecture series and events, and we have ongoing IDEAS research projects. So our satellite campus, which houses our MARC2 Suprastudio program, is in a large hangar building in Culver City. In addition to housing our MARC2 program, as I said before, we also have exhibitions and lectures that we host in this facility. And there's a tight-knit relationship between the main campus, where our Masters of Architecture 1 program and other programs are housed, and the IDEAS at Culver City. More specifically, in Perloff Hall in our Westwood UCLA campus, we have our Masters of Architecture 1 degree program and also the MA PhD program. There's the lecture series and the summer program and gallery exhibitions happening in Perloff Hall. And at the Satellite IDEAS facility, we have the MARC2 program, we have our Advanced Technologies Lab, we have our IDEAS lecture series and additional curatorial projects and exhibitions. So in our Advanced Technologies Lab, we have some of the largest robots in any architecture school in North America. We have 2 large robots and 2 small robots. And in addition, we have the typical machine shop and laser cutters and CNC mills and all these other technology-related fabrication facilities. We also have an extensive network of 3D printers. What you're seeing in the video is the introductory summer session work that our students have produced, where they used a robot lab setup to create these hybrid video projects where they filmed their models and added digital content overlaid on top of it. In addition to the robotics, we're also exploring photogrammetry through the use of drones. And also we are one of the first architecture schools to have a proper virtual and augmented reality lab. We have multiple headsets and multiple workstations that allow our students to explore the world of virtual reality as it relates to architecture. So I talked briefly about the industry collaborators, and I want to talk a little bit about them more specifically. We have a number of industry collaborators. You're seeing some of these companies in this slide. They range from non-governmental organizations to corporations, and our primary objective is about finding a relevance, a new kind of relevance and a platform for architecture to have more influence. Therefore, we look into, as you can see in our lecture series posters here, we look into industries that relate to transportation, to software, to entertainment, and beyond. And this large roster of companies that we collaborate with allow us to find real life context for some of the studio topics that we're exploring at the Suprastudio program. So I would like to briefly talk about the past and the present of the Suprastudio program. Initially, the Suprastudio program was first established in 2008, and the first collaboration was between Professor Neil Donario with Toyota Motors, the second one in 2009 with Professor Greg Lynn and Walt Disney Imagineering, and the third one in 2010 with Professor THOM MAYNE with the National Endowment for the Arts. In the year 2013, we moved into our satellite campus, our first location in Playa Vista. And in this inaugural year, we had 3 studios. The first one taught by Gary Partners and Gary Technologies, the second one by Professor Greg Lynn, and the third one by Professor THOM MAYNE and the Now Institute. And the main framework for the Suprastudio program was established at this point, where each studio will have 15 students roughly, and then there will be supported theme-specific technology seminars, and the studios would meet Monday, Wednesday, Friday. If you would like to see more examples of the current studio work, please visit the studio blogs. I will give you the links to all the relevant materials at the end of this presentation. So in year 2014-15, we had 3 studios again. The first one led by Craig HODGETTS, the second one by Greg Lynn, and the third one by THOM MAYNE. And due to demand to the program, we have expanded in the year 2015-16. And instead of having 3 studios, we started having 4 studios, and we continue to do that. And I was added to the team to lead one of the studios. In the year 2016-17, this year, we have Craig HODGETTS, Mark MACK, THOM MAYNE, and myself leading the 4 Suprastudios. For those of you who are not familiar with the UCLA yearly academic plan, UCLA is structured around a quarter system as opposed to a semester system, which means that there are 4 quarters in a year. The first quarter being a shorter quarter of 6 weeks, and the remaining 3 quarters are roughly around 10 weeks. The reason why I'm mentioning this is because the Suprastudio program is a 1-year program, and the first quarter is a general training summer session where all the students from every studio are combined into one large group in order to get training on the newest cutting-edge computer software, design software, being trained in the machine shop and the facilities such as robotics, 3D printing, CNC milling, and any additional facilities that we have. The work from the summer session primarily revolves around allowing the students to gain the necessary skills in 3D modeling and computation. And as I mentioned, in addition, the students learn how to use some of the high-end equipment that we have, and the way that the studio is structured allows them to get a pretty methodical overview about the overall computational design tools that are currently available for architects. And during the session, the 6-week-long session, the studio leaders are also heavily involved in the process. As I mentioned earlier on in my presentation, each studio has 2 instructors, 1 lead instructor and 1 assistant instructor, and they work in collaboration throughout the year. So without further ado, I would like to talk more specifically about each studio, and I would like to show previous work coming out of these studios. The video that you're currently seeing right now is the work from Craig HODGETTS' studio when he collaborated with Hyperloop, which was a newly established company that was basing its operations on a white paper that was written by Elon Musk on a vacuum train system that would be able to travel between Los Angeles and San Francisco in 20 minutes. The way that Professor HODGETTS structured the year was that the students had the opportunity to explore everything that involves this project, ranging from the industrial design of the cabins all the way to the loading and unloading of passengers in the stations, to a larger infrastructural and environmental design as it relates to the routing of the train system. The examples that you're seeing are about on the cabin designs, as well as the station designs as they relate to specific ideas and concepts. As I mentioned also, there are supporting technology seminars that are tightly knit into the concept of the studio, the year-long research that happens in the studio. The video that you're seeing is from the work of the students from the technology seminar, where a large-scale, full-scale, sectional portion of the cabin was created, and the students worked with video projection mapping in order to test the interior design of their cabins and the industrial design of their cabins full scale by projection and immersive media methods. And this also allowed them to test out ideas about media integration into the cabins themselves. Last year, Professor HODGETTS primarily focused on the new transportation systems and how they would be influencing ideas about the formation of new models of cities. And in this particular student examples, what you're seeing is an approach towards city making that is fusing new transportation techniques along with new interpretations of leisure and production. Moving on to Professor Mark MACK. His current studio at Suprastudio is focusing on the relationship between architecture and performance. So primarily what the students are focusing on is event architecture and large-scale concerts and how a temporary form of space making is deployed in these large events where hundreds and thousands of people attend, primarily in large urban environments. So there's a high level of technology exploration also happening in the studio, where the students are learning video projection mapping techniques along with methods of design for temporary setup of architectural components. As a part of this exploration, Mark MACK Studio also hosted a small symposium in September, where they gathered some of the most influential names in the world of performance, stage design, and architecture. This symposium was very well received, and it gathered a great group of people that have a very strong influence on the world of performance architecture. Moving along to Professor THOM MAYNE and the Now Institute. The Now Institute is a side project of THOM MAYNE. The Now Institute primarily focuses on urban research and how urban design and analysis could be used as a tool to help mitigate some of the large-scale problems that are facing our cities currently. Primarily, the sites that they focus on are usually sites of a high level of density or stress, or some form of natural disaster that has influenced the past and the present of these sites. One of the projects that they have looked at was the redesign of Haiti after the earthquake that has happened a few years ago. And the objective was to do a thorough analysis about the socioeconomic and urban design related issues that Haiti faced prior to the earthquake as well as after the earthquake. And the objective of the studio was to not only thoroughly document the past and the present, but also project towards the future as a result of this very rigorous analysis that they have put together. So some of these analyses also not only remain on paper, but the students have the opportunity to travel to some of the sites of exploration. In this particular year, the students went to Haiti themselves and worked closely with the city officials in Haiti in order to mitigate some of the problems that the people living in Haiti are facing. And the studio ended with a publication and also a series of provocations that looked into the future of Haiti in multiple different scales, ranging from urban design to much smaller scale interventions that look into very basic needs of the people that are living in these places. This year, Professor MAYNE is focusing on the urbanism of tourism, particularly in China. So their specific site of exploration is a tourism island off the coast of China, and this topic was also taken as a topic of the summer session that happened in August this year. And as a result of the summer session, we put together an exhibition that showcases the work of the big group of students that worked on this very interesting project. And lastly, I would like to talk about the focus of my studio. In my studio, architecture is seen as an ecosystem of multiple different technologies. Therefore, we focus on robotics, video projection mapping, sensors, and other interactive modes of technologically enhanced architectural prototypes. In addition, the students get a full-on vocational training in computational design tools as a way to influence not only fabrication but also the experience of architecture. So what you're seeing in the videos here is some of the tools that the students use in order to deploy our industrial robots for the purposes of large-scale 3D printing. The name of the studio was called Technological Singularity, and there's a particular focus on the concept of artificial intelligence and how artificially intelligent environments could create new possibilities for not only the construction of architecture but also the experience of architecture. So in that perspective, the students use a lot of simulation, computer simulation, as well as exploring concepts of machine vision and also virtual and augmented reality. And I will show examples of that in a moment. But the main focus is actually on understanding the relationship between space and technology, and how using the computational design tools not only affect the way that we design and make architecture, but also the way that we experience it. So from that perspective, we spent an entire quarter on using virtual reality as a way to rethink architecture, how architecture could be a kind of a virtual experience and not necessarily primarily a physical experience. Therefore, the students created multiple spatial simulations in virtual reality to challenge some of these very fundamental concepts that we take for granted as a part of architecture. And in addition to these virtual reality simulations, the students created examples of interactive architecture that would respond to particular sensory inputs such as motion sensors, wearable technology, facial recognition systems, and other forms of sensory data collection methods. So that marks the end of my presentation. If you would like more information, please visit our website at www.aud.ucla.edu/ideas. If you would like to get more information about Suprastudio and check out the Suprastudio blogs, please visit www.aud.ucla.edu/ideas/Suprastudio. If you would like to get more information about the admissions requirements and what kind of documentation you would need to provide in order to apply to the Suprastudio program, please visit aud.ucla.edu/admissions/graduate_admissions. And if you have any questions about admissions or about the contents of the program, please feel free to email us at ideas@aud.ucla.edu. Thank you very much.